Caria joins us now on SportsCage. And Dante, I don't know if you, nice hat, by the way. What is that hat?
That's my baseball team. That is the U13 Regina Wolfpack.
Oh, nice. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Now, I don't know, at 3:05, did you hear Jerry Johansson at all,
I
the
watched it,
player
yeah.
agent? Now, he said, in a nutshell, everything's going to
hmm
be fine. He feels for the Western Hockey League and the CHL. Don't panic. You're still going to see good hockey. I mean, that's generally what he said. You might see stronger, younger players and a few older ones that go, but the product he felt is going to be strong. Is that what you believe as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a much younger league, at least this season, until maybe they can find some sort of agreement with the NCAA and the NHL that I think has the best interest in terms of developing the players for the National Hockey League. I
Mm-hmm.
look at baseball as a prime example. Now, we just saw the MLB draft a couple of days ago. Players could either go to college, they can get drafted at a high school, and then go straight to the pros. And then you have to essentially beat various different levels in order to make it to the major leagues.
Good point.
Now,
Good
hockey, I
point.
think the one problem that we're in right now is that it's such a revenue gate driven sport at all levels that a lot of these amateur teams in the CHL, at the NCAA level, and even at the junior A level are all fighting for the same crop of players. To me, I feel at times that we're not
Okay.
really putting in the best interest of the players as far as their development and what the right path is for them. I truly believe that the CHL is the best path in terms of the schedule, the competition, the grittiness, especially in the WHL, the physicality. I think certain types of players get built and prepared for the NHL and for the pro level differently than in other leagues. In particular, at the NCAA level, they don't play as many games, but they have other things they can potentially offer players when it comes to skills and more practices. But it's yeah, I think it's going to be a younger league. It was already a young league. I don't know what they'll do in the 20-year-old situation. Yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting. I did listen to that interview, and I had mixed feelings on it for sure.
Now, that's interesting you mentioned 20-year-olds because I think the CHL and the Western Hockey League is going to get actually stronger overall younger players. But then we
Mm.
see how long they last if they do go to the NCAA when they get a little older and graduate from high school. But because of that, the end of that, the end side of it, do you think the Western Hockey League or the CHL will add a 20-year-old or two?
Yeah, I think Penticton's allowed to carry 4 20-year-olds this year because it's their
Right.
inaugural season, and I assume
Mm-hmm.
that Chilliwack's going to be allowed to carry 4 20-year-olds next year as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to four, and I don't have anything to back this up, right, Don? But I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they go across the board 4 20-year-olds, just to maybe have some older players in your lineup. For example, when I was working at the junior A level, you would have some 20-year-old players get committed to an NCAA Division One or Division Three program, or even go
Mm-hmm.
CIS after their 20-year-old season because of late development, or say a program that they were already committed to at 18, 19 years old, brought in some different recruits one season and maybe didn't have room on their roster in terms of ice time for a particular season. He still had junior eligibility, and so he went back and played in the BCHL, for example, when I was working in Powell River for one more season. You do have those different scenarios, and that's a couple of things that I'm sure will pop up in the next couple of years. You look at Mazin Leslie, who has agreed to not go to Bowling Green University this year and play for the Kelowna Rockets, a team that acquired his rights from the Vancouver Giants a couple of months ago. That's
Mm-hmm.
nice to see because you never want to see a team that's going for a league championship trade assets for a player and then him not
Oh,
report.
that's
That's
right.
awful. You never want to see that. The one thing that worries me the most at the CHL level, and in particular at the WHL level, because we're drafting players a year younger than, say, the OHL does,
Yep.
is like, to me, is how important will those draft picks be, right? When you're
Mm-hmm.
acquiring those players. Look at Victoria, Reshny, Verhoff. Those players are leaving. They just drafted them. They never even gave themselves a window that they projected that they would have to win with those young players because of this new NCAA type thing. So I don't. That's what worries the most, is that teams like Alan Miller used to preach all the time, focus so much on the draft and development model, Don. Well, is that still going to be the case? Are you going to have to try to recruit players from the United States instead? I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
They've now added 3 Europeans to try to help, I guess, change things a bit. But those European players can go play NCAA hockey as well. It's I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah. Well, like what you said there, apparently there's more United States Hockey League players that are younger looking at the CHL than before. Just talking about younger players, you hit the jackpot, Dante, because you got Connor Bedard as a young player coming into the Pats, and now you've got Maddox Schultz to call. That's sort of cool. You're going to have two, extremely phenomenal hockey players to call the action for.
And from what I understand, two really great people. I shouldn't say from what I understand. From what I know, I've had a good amount of interactions working with Maddox in the last couple of months. Connor, I consider a good friend of mine, somebody that I still keep in touch with to this day, 4 years after I met him here in Regina. In fact, he actually turns 20 years old tomorrow. Crazy to think
Wow.
that I met Connor at age 16 and now he's turning 20 tomorrow. And I do think that he's going to have a really good season as a 20-year-old in the NHL. A lot of people have written him off, but I mean, this is a guy who's well over half a point per game already as a teenager. And it's funny that you mentioned him. I was looking at Nathan McKinnon's stats when he was 19 as a sophomore in the NHL. He only had 33 points. Well, Connor had over 60 points this season, over 60 last year. Not too bad. As far as Maddox goes, two different types of players for fans that are wondering what type of a player he will be with the Regina Pats. He's a two-way player. He kind of is maybe compared to Jonathan Toews, who in his own right was a great leader, great captain, won 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think Maddox is going to be a great junior. I think Liam Pugh is going to be a really good junior as well, really good pro. He has size, skill, the ability to shoot the puck. From what I saw from both of those two kids and from all the prospects at Spring Development Camp in May, I was very impressed.
Now, just to wrap up here, Dante, you're coaching a baseball team, as we see. Tell us about your team and what's going on with that club.
Yeah, Don, I had to wear my Wolfpack hat. That's my team hat. I'm not wearing the uniform right now. I just had the hat in my office, so I had to give a little bit of a shout out to the kids. League playoffs start this weekend, and then we have our Saskatchewan Provincials next weekend in Regina at Lions Park, which is run by the lovely Leo McDonald. So, regular season just finished up on Saturday. This is my 3rd year coaching. Last year, I was honored to be the Saskatchewan Baseball Grassroots Coach of the Year by Baseball Canada.
Congratulations.
And,
wow.
Thank you. Really looking forward to see what this group can do. Most of my kids are first-year kids. I don't have a veteran group, so I've really had to teach them, my style of baseball. We play a lot of small ball. I think I'm the only team that bunts. We bunt. We do little things. We've got practice tonight, practice tomorrow. Play against Esterhazy on Friday. We'll play Assiniboia Saturday, number 1 ranked team, and then we'll play White City Saturday night. So really looking forward to the final 2 weeks of baseball season.
Now, your boss is going to be the majority owner of the Regina Red Sox come October, Queen City Sports and Entertainment, of course, Gavin and Sean Semple. You better let them know you know lots about baseball, Dante.
Yeah, at the press conference, we had a couple conversations. It was funny. They had sandbats around the press conference just for kind of like aesthetic, type thing. Mm-hmm. And I think Sean picked up the sandbat and he was looking at it. And I said, hey, did you know that Barry Bonds hit all of his record home runs with that bat? And then he told me this big story, how he met Barry Bonds. And I was just like, my eyes opened wide up because I love Barry Bonds. He was one of my favorite players. And I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Well, that's a debate for another day. Thanks for joining us, Dante. We really appreciated your input. SportsCage continues in just a moment.